Hello, hello. Welcome back. As a people pleasing expert who has lived 38 years of her entire life as a people pleaser and is now healed and become so much more untamed, I today want to talk to you about one of my favorite, my favorite, kind of my favorite because it is one that hit me so hard as a people pleaser. Why do I feel bad after conversations? Ugh. This one was so big for me. So big. Okay. This one is a huge, huge teaching. Okay. And all of these little snippets I'm giving you are like a micro snippet of the tip of the iceberg. It's like the tippy, 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 tippy tip of the tip of the iceberg. Okay. So just know there is so much more to all of this. But these are just little tiny, tiny things to help you start cracking your behaviors and beliefs open so that if you did want to consider, my book and or my program, that would be, you would understand a little bit of little tiny bits and pieces of how we're operating, what we're talking about, and so much more, so much more. But let's get back to this one. So why do I feel bad after conversations? The looping. Basically, I lived in the loop. I ate in the loop. I went to bed in the loop. I showered in the loop. Like the loop is where I freaking lived. I don't know if you can relate to this, but I freaking lived in the loop. What's the loop? Maybe when you have something that barely happens, maybe it's an odd response because you're tracking that person, right? You're like, that sounds so creepy. Tracking that person. You're scanning that person. You're kind of like, how are they reacting? What are they doing? Am I on course? Right? That's people pleasing. It's very much like, what should I do? How should I respond? Always overthinking. It's always looping. And then if something is slightly off, holy crap, I spent years worrying, having anxiety, feeling bad if I didn't quite respond in the correct way. Okay. It'll still get me every once in a while. And then I'm like, what am I talking about? But not so much. Like it is once a year, if that. Okay. So again, this work is and I used to literally struggle with this nearly daily, weekly, monthly. It was all the time. Okay. So number one, you are not registering yourself as important enough. You're registering that other person as more important. Therefore, you are putting the importance of that little tiny nugget of how they're feeling as more important as you. So you're just looping, scanning, thinking like, how can I fix this? Even though there's nothing to fix, or is something really tiny. Okay. Somehow you're coming off as a bad person. Therefore your safety is at risk. Oh my gosh, the lion is chasing us. We're like, it just goes on and on and on. You are trained. Okay. I was trained. I was trained to scan the external and ignore my internal. Okay. And this one's really hard. This was my biggest people pleasing issue. And you have to, I actually was going to just tell you a story, but I don't want to. If you want to know my story, then it is very clear in there how I performed as a people pleaser. Get my book. And it will show you how I was developed as a people pleaser. And it wasn't because my parents wanted it that way. It's not because they were thinking of that, but it was just certain actions and behaviors that actually developed that in me. And then I took it and ran because that was what was equating safety in my life. Okay. So basically you're looking at others as more important than yourself. So you just constantly keep leaving. Okay. You don't want to be seen as selfish or too much. Oh my gosh. Just like in the previous video when I was talking about how apparently to this other friend I was being too much, like she was like wanting to tone me down. Again, her too much was me speaking with joy and excitement and just go, like I am now. Okay. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't screaming. I wasn't in anyone's faces. This other woman and I were having a private conversation. But for her and her nervous system triggered something, and I was being too much. So I needed to make sure that I knew my place. And I was like, biatch, love you, bitch. I know my place, and it ain't down, girl. It's up. And I know if you are watching this, you are too. You are meant to shine. You are meant to hum. You are meant to like be whatever. Be too much. You are going to be too much for some people. And just be like, I love you. Get out of my way. Bye. Okay. Basically, you just learned this. You feel safe when you suppress and dim. Okay. And so it's going to take tiny little micro movements for you to feel safe by being your big self. And as you grow, different circumstances will come up and you're like, oh, I've been feeling so good. And then I got put in this environment. And now I want to like, okay, again, don't worry. This will be lifelong work. The nervous system just loves to keep throwing you. And oh, you're like new level? Okay. I got something for you at this level too. This is going to be so fun. But it's so much easier. It's so much easier, but kind of like the same old game. I don't know how to describe it, but it is so much easier. You feel so much better, so much better. All right. I will see you in the next video, which will be the final of this series. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.